Guten Tag, my little YouTubians. Today, or at least for this video, I am going to be talking about children, the discipline of children, and making sure your children are not being little brats to the people around them. Just recently, I read an article about a woman who was in line at a store, and in front of her was a mother with a child who was throwing a tantrum or crying. Okay? She asked or told, I don't know which one it is, but either way, she said for her to calm the child down. And the mother's response was, "Don't tell my child what to do." And then the other woman told her to go to hell, this and that. And the mother actually waited out in the parking lot and hit this woman. Okay. I can understand you want to protect your baby and all that other stuff, but guess what? The fucking world does not want to hear your kid throwing a tantrum. Now, no, I know there are exceptions to this. I do acknowledge that there are hungry children, children in pain, children with disabilities like autism and all that. But you still, right? You still should not expect the world to cater to your child even if they have these problems. I mean, perhaps the woman was rude to the woman about her child, but it sounds like the mother was doing nothing about it, not even acknowledging the people around her and apologizing for her child's actions. You know, it could be, it's been a long day, he or she might be hungry, I really don't know the gender of the child. I'm sorry, I'll try to get out here as quickly as possible, something like that. Or, I'm sorry he's making this noise, he has a disability, stuff like that. Just general acknowledgement that the world does not have to cater to your child. Even if you can't do anything about it, at least acknowledge the people around you and apologize, because they do have to listen to it. And to me, it's just common courtesy to acknowledge the problem and at least apologize for it. Because I do think a mother like that, her children will grow up to be spoiled brats. And I commented on this, and a person's like, well, you must not have children. Yes, I do. I have a child, and I do not allow him to act like that in public. Is he perfect? No, not at all. He's 7 years old. He acts like a 7-year-old. Actually, he acts a little bit younger. But I do not allow him to run through a store, to jump up on the tables. I work in a restaurant. I work at KFC, and some of the stuff I see people let their children do, it's actually somewhat dangerous. I've seen children jump off chairs and everything onto the floor. Again, we're a place you eat. We have hard floors, and these people are sitting there eating while their children are jumping off of chairs. I've had people leave messes, and not just children, grown adults. Okay? I've also had people clean up after their children and even asked if we would like them to. But, it's our job, we do it and everything else. But the thought is nice. It shows that they parent their children. They show their children, you make a mess, you clean up, or you at least offer to help. That's the simplest things. It's not always you doing something, but the acknowledgement. And what you do affects your children because your children watch what you do. They do. Children learn by example. And like I said, you may think you're protecting your children now, but what happens when they get older? And they have to deal with people. What happens when that kid goes to school and they want to sit and play and carry on and shout and scream? I mean, what the fuck? I mean, what if they want to get together with a bunch of kids and they want to run around the class playing tag or something, and the teacher tells them to sit down, and then they get all upset, they go home to mom and dad, and they come to school and they're like, don't tell my child what to do. Because that's pretty much the same thing. Because technically the woman in line told the mother to please calm her child down. She didn't go up to the child in the stroller or whatever and say, hey, kid, calm down. She talked to the mother. And it really does sound like the mother is probably raising a spoiled brat. Now, granted, like I said, there are issues in between certain things. We really don't know what this child's problem was. And perhaps the woman in line might not have been completely polite about it. But it sounds like this mother was older. She should have been the more mature one. Let it go. Told her whatever the problem with the child was. And that, if she has children one day, it's going to be hard for her. And all that other crap. But the thing was, the mom, the older one, sunk lower down than the other woman who told her child to be quiet. Again, children learn by example. I really think a lot of parents try too much to be their child's friends, don't want to deal with their children, and this whole spanking is abuse thing is just ridiculous to me. I grew up with it. It did not affect my life the way other things did. I've had problems and other shit that has nothing to do with being disciplined. I'm not talking about beating the hell out of your child. I am totally against that kind of crap. I'm against that beating of children and animals and all that other stuff. What I'm talking about, if your kid is bad and he gets a swat on the ass or something, I don't think that's too much of a big deal. Beating the hell out of your kid is wrong and you should be put in jail. A little tap, or being grounded on a timeout, or something like that is not going to kill them. What else? I was reading a thing on Cafe Mom. Why the fuck is that always Cafe Mom? I don't know. But the stories you hear on this. Okay. This woman, I think her stepkids were there. She made meatballs, which I guess is one of their favorite things to eat. She told them not to eat it, okay? That they were all going to eat when they got back or something. Now these boys are around 12, 13 or whatever. Now there was peanut butter and jelly, there was macaroni according to this woman. What do? They go in there and they eat the meatballs. And people are like, well, you left them alone with their favorite foods, and what do you expect for two growing boys? Okay. I was babysitting a little bit younger than that age. I was responsible for other human beings. I was learning to cook food around that age. I could make certain things for myself, and when I knew not to eat something or not to do something, I didn't fucking do it because I knew I would get in trouble. At least I wouldn't do anything that I get fucking caught doing. What happened was a woman ordered pizza and she didn't give any to the boys, and I guess it's really upset some people on Cafe Mom. Because they're like, oh, you made their favorite dish, and what do you expect? Well, what I would expect and what my mother and everybody else would expect out of me is to do what I am told. The woman did not leave the children starving. They had peanut butter and jelly. They had other things to tide them over until dinner time. And that's just the thing, is people are making excuses for kids that I don't know. I don't even have a lot of... I don't even know what to say about it. Except that these kids really, really won't be ready for reality. And it's not just when they get older and they're in high school or they're going for a job. It starts in elementary school. It starts when you have teachers and you get into a class routine and you have to do what you're told. That doesn't start in the workforce, that starts at school. When you get up, when you eat lunch, when you do math, reading, art, whatever. They're gonna have to deal with all that stuff starting when they are children. And I hate to see what happens when they're adults. Because there's a lot of things that I didn't know, and I struggle with things, and I consider myself a pretty mature person. But these people, these kids are having things like catered to them. The world is molded around them, you know, about what they want things to be, and it just doesn't work that way. And reality is going to hit very hard for them. So yeah, people, remember, we all know you love your children, but loving them is also teaching them that the world does not revolve around them. And that they will have to deal with people. And they will have to deal with life. So see you next time.